All right, we are back on Steel City, and I'm your host, Andre Duke. Just checking it out, see how everybody's doing today. Obviously, a massive news story today. I mean, if you live under a rock, you probably don't know, but um, that is kind of what it is today. But yeah, so there's that. The Steelers taking on the Seahawks this weekend. Some NFL stuff and notes to get through, but we'll go through what it is on the Steelers. Just got to get that moving and a grooving. But how is everybody doing this evening? Just figured would check and gauge that. Doing something real quick. Got to get the link tweeted out. As we so often do on the show. Just trying to get it going. There's that, but yeah, just figured I would get everything going again. Trying to get everything situated. But yeah, massive news today. So there's that, but how is everybody feeling today? It is a nice Wednesday for everybody, but there's that. The Steelers taking on the Seahawks. As I get that pulled up really quick, just trying to get the bearings with everything going on. One of those days, but so we're about to see. I think this is a big game. It's a personal game for DK Metcalf, and also if this is your first time finding the podcast, hit that like and subscribe button. Help us grow this thing. Also, the last maybe 10-15 minutes, we're going to open up the phone lines and let people call in. The number is on the ticker below, but wait until we're at the end of the show, and I'll leave it open for 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll go depending on how long we get calls. But yeah, for the most part, looking at this, last week, Aaron Rodgers, 244 yards for 4 touchdowns. I mean, that is a pretty decent day at the office. Looking at Sam Darnold, 150 yards, 70% completion, and a Seahawks loss. So those are the tales of the quarterbacks coming into the game. I'm real interested to see what Pittsburgh can do as far as running the football. For some reason, Aaron Rodgers got updated to questionable. I'm not shocked by that. I think that the way it goes is that's just the way it is, really. We're just trying to get this thing off the ground. But if you're watching on TikTok, come on over to the YouTube channel. It's the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. That is the name of the YouTube channel. This is just a show on the YouTube channel called Steel City. Just checking some things here real quick, but yeah, that is the gist of it. I guess they IR'd Skylar Thompson, so there's that. But yeah, Sam Darnold with only 150 yards last week, 16 to 23. Obviously, Pittsburgh's favored at this. Seattle coming all the way across the country to see what they just to see what they. That's not the ideal situation for a team to go east to west. Brock Purdy had pretty good success throwing the ball against Seattle. They didn't really have a ton of success on the ground. CMC, I get it. It was his first game back. CMC ended up with 22 carries for 69 yards. Ricky Pearsall 8, though. I think that the Steelers' pass rush could have a big day against Seattle, to say the least. Hightower, Watt, a couple of those guys could have pretty decent days. Just looking at it as far as matchup wise, I think that for the most part, that's kind of where it's at. And then a lot of people are picking the Steelers in this one. Just looking at some other external things. I find it fascinating, to say the least, but yeah, but also if you're watching on Twitter, come on over to YouTube. Also, we have the TikTok live going. There is something there as well, but yeah, so we'll get into it a little bit more on this fine Wednesday. So there is that. Seattle, that whole east coming to west travel, or west coming to east travel. I am going to look that up real quick. Bear with me here. Trying to get this Google search done. But yeah, that's kind of where we're at. So it's going to be about a 10 a.m. kick for the fellas in Seattle. And it's a 1 o'clock game. Just doing a little Google searching now. When it comes to since the year 2000, East Coast team or West Coast teams coming east in the Eastern time zone are 57 and 105. They got a 32% win rate. So a lot of that is bowing well for the Steelers going forward. I think this is a game that they've really got to come out and run the ball well. I would not be shocked if Caleb Johnson gets some pretty decent bulk of the carries. Jaylen Warren, just got to see how that is going. In the meantime, just doing that. But outside of that, I think those are the keys to victory for the Steelers. For some reason, Aaron Rodgers got updated to questionable. Don't really understand that, but I guess it is what it is. And then some contract details were leaked today for Cam Hayward. on his end of it. The great Mark Florio details on Cam Hayward's incentives. Cam makes $1.6 million if he gets 8 sacks and the Steelers make the playoffs. He gets another $1.6 million, 11 and a half sacks, and the Steelers get a playoff win. That is what Mike Florio reported today. There's that also in there. I think that it's one of those things that they've got to. Tomlin, I hate to be that guy, but Tomlin absolutely needs a playoff win today. Or not today, but going forward, he needs a playoff win, to be honest. It's just something to be said there. I think that is kind of where we're at as far as the playoff side of things. As far as the season trajectory goes, just now getting into the DK Metcalf side of things, I think that this is a big game for DK Metcalf. I'm just curious on what DK and what he's got up the sleeve. I'm sure last week it was Aaron Rodgers had to right a lot of wrongs against the Jets. A lot of people didn't think he could play against the Jets. There's that. You also have the Seahawks trading DK for pretty much a little of nothing. I think that what happened up there in Seattle was Pete Carroll was gone. They needed hold on one second. That is sorry, I had to send a text there, but yeah, I think that the Seattle was going through a whole regime change, and they needed to get that under control. They pretty much DK Metcalf was, I would say, a cap casualty, and they kind of thought he could not play anymore. So that is kind of where they kept him at. I think that I think it's very interesting on how they kept DK Metcalf where he was for as long as they did. I just think that it's one of those deals that when it came to DK, he was pretty much what it was. I don't think he had a bad year last year. I think that there was a lot of differences that did not fit him well. That's kind of what that was. I think that Seattle was underachieving, and they looked at possibly compiling picks like they did to get DK out of town. I think he was unhappy. I think them bringing in Sam Darnold, they drafted Jalen Milroe. I think Seattle is a little bit of a topsy-turvy ship. I think they have a lot of things to where they could be this year one of the most volatile teams in the NFL as far as wins and losses. They could either win a bunch in a row or they could lose a bunch. I think that's really where Seattle is at for the most part. I don't know how they're going to get over the hump. I don't know if Sam Darnold is the guy to get him over the hump. I think that Darnold is a guy that could keep them down. But then again, last year, they won 14 games and still didn't win a division. Hold on one second. Just having My phone is blowing up with everything that's going on today, so there's just that. But yeah, for the most part, that's where we're at. What's up, old school? Um, there's that. I think it'll be interesting to see how um they come out and respond to this. What kind of game DK has. I think that is very, very important this week. I think it's going to be highly emotional for him. Just with the last 2 weeks of it, the NFL schedule makers knew what they were doing. First week, it's the reunition of Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Also, it's a reuniting DK Metcalf in Seattle in week 2. So I think the schedule makers are kind of up to what they're doing. Also, I mean, talk about the elephant in the room. The Cincinnati Bengals at the end in the second half against Cleveland last week. We'll go a few other topics, but I think the Steelers win the game. They should cover it. I think Seattle is not going to play the greatest going forward. East Coast team coming to the West Coast, or West Coast team coming to the East Coast. I mean, like I said, since 2000, the number is Jalen Reed, James Williams, Calvin Austin this week. I think Calvin Austin could end up having a particularly good game because the volatility on DK is really high, because it's one of those things that I don't know if Rodgers will force him the ball. Obviously, DK's got something to prove to Seattle. That's just something there. That's kind of where we're at. But we will take a break in the show, especially you guys watching on YouTube and Twitter. Also got the TikTok live open. Devo or Hampton flex this week. Who does? I would roll with Debo, just for the simple fact of I think the Commanders on Thursday night on a short week are going to have to be able to score with Green Bay. I think Green Bay is going to put up a lot of points this year. Jordan Love, I think he's got a lot to prove this year, to be honest. Some folks on TikTok asking questions, but yeah, I would definitely roll Debo this week. Just for that simple fact. So yeah, there's that. But yeah, that's pretty much my summarization on the Seattle stuff. But also, if you're watching on TikTok, hit the link in the bio, come on over to YouTube, hit that like and subscribe button. And also, people on TikTok, if you want to call in and ask questions, the number is on the YouTube. So you got to come to YouTube in order to get the phone number to get it to get on the air. There is that as well. So the number will be on the ticker. But whenever we open the phone lines, I will be shutting TikTok down. There is that. But the link is in the bio. It's the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. And also, coming up in a few, we are going to have the I would go Ridley at flex. But also we're going to have the college football show. It's a little bit of a longer form show. I will fire up the TikTok again, but also we will be taking calls on there as well. But a couple of other topics. This Sunday is Joe Flacco's first start back in Baltimore. I find that very fascinating on how that's going. So there is that. I would go Egbuka, Emeka. But yeah, Flacco making his first start back in the big crab cake for Cleveland. That's just kind of what that is. Let me look. We got just stuff going on today. It's been a very interesting deal. But the numbers on the ticker below, if you want to call in. There is that. But TikTok, if you want the call in number, you got to come on over to YouTube. Hit the link in the bio. So there is that. But anyway, the Rex Ryan's comments on Mike McDaniel, he calls him McGenius guy or whatever the hell he is, calls him nerd boy. There's teams, their team has no respect for their coach. They play like it. They play like that, and they're soft every part of their football team. So I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that Rex Ryan is lobbying really hard to get a head coaching job in the NFL. I am just throwing that out there. I think that that's something that Rex is trying to do. I think he's trying to get back into it. So there's that. But yeah, Rex on the Josh McDaniels hate train, as some people would call it. But yeah, they updated the playoff chances after week 1. The Bills lead the way, 99.3%. Baltimore 90.8%. The Chargers in third, followed by Denver and Indy at 68%. The Steelers 63%, Kansas City in the 60s, and then it pretty much falls off by 30% on those. Cincinnati, Houston, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, all in the same realm. And then you have no, I wouldn't take Dobbins. That's just my opinion. But answering some other questions. The Jets at 12%, Tennessee at 8%. I would play Egbuka. That's just my opinion. And then New England and Cleveland rounding out the bottom there. Cleveland rounds out the bottom on playoff percentage chances. So there is that. There's a lot going on right now on the news, I can tell you that much. But if you're on TikTok, come on over to the YouTube side of things. I'm getting ready to shut the TikTok live down, and we're going to take calls on the YouTube channel just there, and then probably fire up the TikTok again for the college football show that we have tonight. Also, follow us on all platforms. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter, and also the YouTube channel. The YouTube channel is what we're really trying to grow right now. Probably could grow the TikTok channel if we would just post more clips. But I think that's where we're going to end the TikTok live. We're going to take calls, but if you enjoy this football talk, hit that link in the bio and come on over to YouTube. We are going to be taking calls live on YouTube. So there is that. I'll talk to you guys in a few. Hit that link in the bio. The number is on the bottom of the ticker. If you want to call, get your calls in. We'll leave it open for about 10 minutes, and we'll get ready for the college football show after this. Later, TikTok. So there is that. So yeah, I got the TikTok shut down. We're going to get the phone number out there. Again, if you want to call, the number is 260-255-4069 is the number to call. If you are trying to get your questions answered or want to talk Steelers or whatever you want to talk about. So there is that. Just looking here at some other things. There's that. But yeah, what's everybody's overall feeling? Leave the phone lines open for a little bit longer. If you want to call now. There is that. So we will get that up and going. So yeah, it's going to be overall an interesting day. Getting that posted. But yeah, we'll leave it open for a couple more minutes now, and we will get out of here. We'll be back tomorrow. I don't know if we're going to get it back in, if we're going to be back in the morning or at night. I'm just testing out windows to see what we get the most engagement on. So there's that. But just looking at it, so yeah, if you guys want to, you can drop your score predictions in the chat. So there is that. But yeah, outside of that, I think we're probably going to wrap this soon. Kind of what we got. Roll through the games really quick, and then we'll get everybody out of here. Commanders Packers Thursday night, gonna kick the week off. Jacksonville, Cincinnati, Dallas, New York, Bears, Lions, Rams, Titans, Patriots, Dolphins. Although I really like the Patriots in that. The Dolphins are favored by 1.5. That's bizarre to me. 49ers, Saints, Bills, Jets. That could be a bloodbath. The Steelers going to be on Fox, taking on Seattle. CBS is going to be Browns, Ravens. And then the 4 o'clock games are Denver, Indianapolis, Carolina, Arizona. Carolina going on the road. And then the game of the week is going to be Chiefs, Eagles. And then Sunday Night Football is going to be Falcons, Vikings. Vikings back-to-back primetime games. And then Monday is a doubleheader. You're going to have the Buccaneers, Texans, and the Chargers, Raiders. So all of that for your viewing pleasure. So there you go. But with that being said, if you like and enjoy this content, and if you want to give a time suggestion on when we should do this show, drop it in the comments if you're watching it on record. So we're going to get out of here and talk to you guys later. All right. Bye.